Iran issues a chilling warning to Americans just hours before Trump's looming naval blockade. Iran tells Americans to enjoy current gas prices, warning worse pain is coming soon.
10 o'clock tomorrow, we have a blockade going into effect. That'll be 10 o'clock tomorrow. Other nations are working so that Iran will not be able to sell oil, and that will be very effective.
After failed talks, Trump's latest military move could hit American consumers the hardest. US fuel prices spike over 40% as oil markets surge following Trump's decision. 1 month into war and failed diplomacy, questions grow over whether Iran holds the advantage. After failed peace talks, Iran has warned the United States that Americans may soon miss today's relatively cheap gasoline. Iran's parliament speaker, Mohammad Bakr Kalibaf, made the warning on April 12, according to Press TV. Kalibaf suggested that US consumers could soon grow nostalgic for current fuel prices as tensions keep rising. His comments came shortly after President Donald Trump ordered the US Navy to impose a naval blockade on Iran. The move is aimed at the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most critical sea lanes for international oil shipments. Tensions between Washington and Tehran have continued to escalate following the collapse of peace talks in Islamabad. According to the American Automobile Association, average gasoline prices in the United States are about $4.125 per gallon. Reports say US gasoline prices have already climbed roughly 40% compared to pre-war levels. Oil prices surged again on April 12, after Washington announced a blockade of Iranian ports starting the next day. US crude jumped around 8% to $104.24 per barrel, while Brent crude rose about 7% to $102.29. Iran, for its part, has already restricted passage through the Strait of Hormuz, allowing only a limited number of countries' vessels to pass. Iran's Revolutionary Guards Navy has stated that the strait will not return to pre-war conditions for what it calls adversary states. Meanwhile, the US president has said he does not care if Iran chooses not to return to the negotiating table.
I would say it's holding well. Their military is destroyed. Their whole Navy is underwater. You know that. 158 ships are gone. Their Navy's gone. Most of their mine droppers are gone. We have a lot of people, as you know, at 10 o'clock tomorrow, we have a blockade going into effect. That'll be 10 o'clock tomorrow. Other nations are working so that Iran will not be able to sell oil, and that will be very effective. But what we want to do is we want to, and again, we don't need it. What we notice and what we see and what I think is maybe my idea, maybe not, I don't know. But there are many boats heading toward our country to fill up with oil and then go and take it. So they're not going to go through the Hormuz Strait. And ultimately that'll be corrected. But in the meantime, they're using us. We have more oil because of drill, baby, drill. We have more oil than Russia and Saudi Arabia put together. I think Iran is in very bad shape. I think they're very desperate. We had a meeting that lasted 21 hours. We understand the situation better than anybody, and Iran's in very bad shape. And just so you understand, Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. Will not have. There is no way that they're going to get. They still want it, and they made that clear the other night. Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. Oh, I don't know. I don't care if they come back or not. If they don't come back, I'm fine. Their military is gone. Their missiles are largely depleted. The manufacturing capability for missiles and drones is largely defeated. We've been very nice. We haven't ripped down too many bridges. We did one only because they broke their word. They broke their promise. And remember, their promise was that they were going to open the Hormuz Strait. They didn't do it. They lied. We don't like a pope that's going to say that it's okay to have a nuclear weapon. We don't want a pope that says crime is okay in our cities. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of Pope Leo. He's a very liberal person, and he's a man that doesn't believe in stopping crime. He's a man that doesn't think that we should be toying with a country that wants a nuclear weapon so they can blow up the world. No, I'm not a fan of Pope Leo.
The United States has announced it will begin a blockade of all maritime traffic to and from Iranian ports starting April 13th. This action follows an order from President Donald Trump to ratchet up pressure on Tehran after negotiations between the two sides failed. The blockade will apply to vessels of all nations that are entering or leaving Iranian ports and coastal areas along Iran's shoreline. According to reports, the restrictions will cover shipping routes across the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. However, US officials say transit through the Strait of Hormuz to non-Iranian ports will not be affected and will be allowed to continue. Mariners operating in these waters have been advised to closely monitor official broadcasts and maintain communication with US naval forces while transiting the region.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.